Greetings and gratitude to all light forms and life workers who have found this, day number 16 of 31 days of card magics. I am your host, Yul Innes, also known as the Third Eye Lion. I am here to talk to you about the topic of this day, which is New Age versus Classical. So, I recently received donations of a few very New Age style decks. The Oracle of Visions, the Hidden Wisdom, Wisdom of the Hidden Realms, and the Psychic Tarot of the Heart. These are newer decks. These are made by modern teachers and spiritual philosophers and mystics and mediums. These decks come from different origins and different places. Compared to the classical representations would be your Rider-Waite variants, then to your esoteric order variants, Thoth Tarot. The very classical, the Visconti, where only 4 of the cards are missing, and what I would consider decks that are in the middle that are both classical and New Age. The example here is the Astensi Tarot. Only 17 of these original cards remained from the original 78. These were made in 1495, and they were lost for 500 years, and the 17 came back, and we don't know where the other ones are, if we will ever see them again. So an artist was commissioned to finish out the deck, so we can use them for readings. They are gold inlaid like they would have been back in the time, but because they're inspired by 500-year-old cards, but not all of the 500-year-old cards are in the deck, this is both New Age and classical. The reason why I'm going to start with this one is just let you see what the middle of the ground for both is. So what classicals really have an artistic intent of the creator. They were meant for one person, maybe one family only. And these were not things that they ever expected to last, to be passed on. So the artists oftentimes were uncredited, and they would spend many times, months, maybe even years creating these one-of-a-kind decks that would get used and damaged and destroyed over time. And there's many of them we don't know. And the classical school of thought is if something's over 100 years old, there is at least 95 years of study of that thing, and you can refer to that study to gain more information of it. This is not true of any of the New Age decks. No one has been studying these new decks for 90 years. They just can't. But some of these older decks, they've been studying them for 300-400 years. And that is what allows the more information, the more theory to come in. I read the classical cards very intuitively, very heart-centered. But the New Age cards are very mental and heart in collaboration, is how I read with them. The other people have different techniques. For a very long time, I did not like the New Age movement. I didn't like this new thought, this new idea of spiritualism that very much differed from the old. But now, as I'm becoming more mature in my practice, I'm able to see that both are very equal and hold a lot of similar frequencies. So, the example I will show here is the Oracle of Visions. Oftentimes, the more New Age decks, they reference a lot of things. There's a lot of symbolism and a lot of energies in the cards, more so than they have in a classical card. There's a lot more reading, interpretation, and a lot more going on in the frequencies of these cards. And when you go to a more classical deck, you will find that they're more abstract. Each card doesn't always have pictures. Because they were never intended for fortune telling, for psychic purposes. All of these New Age decks, that's baked into the formula. That's baked into the pie. And that's what you're going to get when you go into it. And just understand that going in. Know that if you like the New Age style of decks, there's thousands and thousands of them. If you love the classical style of tarot, tarotini, and the history of tarot. Thousands and thousands of them. If you like both equally or one more than another, know there's something for you. There's always a mix, there's always a blend. Go out into the wide world of cards. There's something for you. Just know that don't judge another system that either you know very much or know very little on based on what you do know. As what I'm referring to is that if you only use the New Age cards, don't think that someone who uses only classical is not as accurate or does not understand the cards equivalent to you. They probably do, but because the systems are so different, the equivalency may look very nebulous, may look very difficult to understand. But understand that if you have only ever used classical, the person who's only using New Age, they can still have information you have never had and have the same information that you have had. It just depends on how much time, how much study, what interaction and relationships the individual has with the system of cards. If you made it then and you are the creator of your own card system, well then, good for you. Please contact me and I would love to feature your deck. You have a benefit that most people don't have. You understand the ins and outs of the system. Very few readers ever do, because these systems are so complex and there's so much other things going on in the mind of a reader. To master one type of system completely, oftentimes they don't do because they're too interested in learning many different systems, such as myself. There's only maybe 3 divination systems I would consider myself mastery in, and that would be runes, dice, and cards. But I am interested in many different types of divination, and I'm learning my mastery there as well. Just know that your process is your own. Don't judge it, and if you like the New Age, you like the historic classical decks, you like somewhere in between, you like decks that no one's ever used before, you like prototypes, you like out-of-print decks, that's all fine. Go out and get them, and share them, and use them. Because this card energy that you want to be working with, that you're called to work with, is calling you back. It wants you to be part of the cycle, the creative, consumptive cycle that never ends. And the cards are just an example of this. This has been going on for 500 plus years, and it will go on for another 500 plus years. I know that for certain. And I give you love and kindness. Read the cards and allow them to help you understand yourself. Thank you very much, and I look forward to seeing you in the next day of Card Magics.